This is a VOD if you're watching it back. We're here live every day at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time. And today we're just going to be talking about some things that people commonly think about, but maybe don't voice their thoughts about it out loud. Just common thoughts we often think about, all right? So, what happens after we die? No one really knows. There's been people who've died and seen a light at the end of the tunnel. And one theory is that, hey, this is you being born again in another womb. Like I saw that the other day on some post. They were like, the light at the end of the tunnel is really just another womb, and then you're being born again. And the reason why you're crying as a baby is because you were thinking about your past life and you were not able to go back to that life. And then you adjust to the current life, to the current hospital room, you grow, and then you forget all about your past life, and then you adjust to your new life. And the reason why you have deja vu and you think you remember what happened in the past is because it actually happened in the life before you were born in this one. Like that was one of the craziest theories that I've heard. So we got Jacob in the house. What's up, Jacob? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. How's the audio? How's the video coming through on your side? It's going okay for me so far. All right, so next one. All right. So no one really knows like what happens. What I think happens is I'm a firm believer in Jesus and God. I'm a Christian. That's just me, right? So what happens, I can't really say, man. I mean, there's the idea of heaven, right? Of being with God forever. I don't know if I completely believe that, but I'm a Christian, what have you. Like, do I have to believe everything in the Bible if I don't understand it? I think I could accept it by faith, but I don't have to believe in it logically. But it doesn't mean that I will blindly believe things. It's just I might give it a benefit of the doubt, but I won't just continue thinking about it unless I actually want to sit down and solve it. I think a lot of the things in the Bible is allegory because I don't really understand it, you know? I think I've almost read the Bible completely. Um and there's the Old Testament, there's the New Testament. I mean, and it really goes into what happens after you die. Like I have no idea, you know. And to me, unless you've experienced death, you don't really have a say in what happens after death, and you don't really have a say in what it feels to die. You know, like what does dying feel like? Like I don't know. I've never died before. I've only died gradually. So every one of us is dying gradually right now. Some at a faster speed than others. So we can only relate, and we call that aging. And we can only relate to that to the degree that we've experienced that. So I'm 42. I've said that many times during these live streams. I'll be 43 in about 4.5 months, maybe longer. And yeah, I feel very old in this space, but here we are. This is the only thing I dream of doing and imagine myself doing, so I'm going to make the best of it, you know? So, how much time do you and I have left, right? No one knows how much time. It's like, would you rather know the day you're going to die, or would you rather not know? So, for me, I would rather not know. I like to keep it a surprise. Fingers crossed. Some people want to know what day they die, so they will go all out and live and do everything they want to do. I guess there's a beauty in that, in actually knowing like when you're going to die, because then you're just going to take advantage of every second, and then you're going to do everything you can to live out fully everything you want to do, everything you want to say, everything you want to be, do, and say. You just live it out. YOLO, you only live once, and you just do everything. Fuck it, right? What's the point of holding back if I know I'm going to die in this amount of days? I'm just going to do everything I think I can complete in that amount of days. I guess there's a beauty in actually knowing the day of your death. Then you can do everything you want to do. Because if you don't know when you're gonna die, you might get lazy. You might forget that dying is a reality, and you might not even start the journey to actually do what it is you really want to do, and then you end up wasting your whole life climbing a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall, as they say. You climb a ladder, and then, oh, dude, I actually had this ladder against the other wall. I didn't want to climb this wall. I wanted to climb the other one. So, all right, another one is if you die, do you want to be remembered at all, or if you will be remembered, if you will be remembered at all? And I look back in history, and I think like, did the figures, the famous people in the history books, like, did they want to be remembered today the way they are remembered, like when they died? Like, what did they think about it or not think about it? For me, I don't think much of it. I used to think about it a lot, but maybe that was because of vanity and because I was really thinking about myself and thinking about what I want. But the older I get, whether or not I'm remembered, it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, I do want to do this YouTube channel where I put these VODs. I want to leave them behind for like my kids, let them watch it, let them know who their dad is and how his dad thinks and how his dad moves. Yeah, I do want to be remembered for certain things by certain people, but do I want to be remembered as a whole, like by all of humanity? I don't really care, to be honest. And I just want to do what I like to do, and I want to support my family, and I want to kind of leave behind as much as I can before I die. So that's kind of like what I do every day. And I feel like I'm kind of living in the end days of my life, but I want a long time to do it. Like, I don't want to just die tomorrow, you know? Like, I want to have a long time to actually make content and different kinds of content. So, do you ever die alone as a human? I think you could have people surround you, like if they know you're dying and they're by your side, then in a sense you're not dying alone. You're dying with people around you. But if you are, you know, either way, if people you know are around you or not, doesn't really matter if people are around you on the day you die. Because the people around you cannot experience and feel your heartbeat as it fades away. Only you can experience that. So you always die alone in a sense, where no one can understand at a cellular level what it is like for you to die. Only you can experience it. Like that's the only that's the only first person experience that you have is the pain you feel in your cells. Like no one can experience that. Maybe one day you can jump people's cells and feel what they feel. I used to watch a show called Quantum Leap. I was a big fan of that show. It's a sci-fi show, and it's this guy, and he jumps into different bodies. It was a really good show, but it's pretty old, so you know it gives you a sense of how old I am. So I wonder if the dead know that we miss them or not. And my grandma, my grandpa, I was really close to them. I wonder if they know that I miss them. I wonder if they're able to know anything. Like what happens after death? No one knows. Where do we go? No one knows. And only religion can say, hey, you went here, you went there. Honestly, no one knows. When people die, do they become spirits trapped on earth? And we call them ghosts and poltergeists? Or do people just go somewhere physical or metaphysical, whatever that means, like a spirit? I have no idea, man, where people go when they die. And whether or not they know or not know we miss them. Like, can my dad look down from heaven and look at me and say, oh, you know, Teddy's doing that. That's cool. I think we hope that everyone we love is in a better place than where they were or when they were on earth. We hope everyone who died is in a better place now. We all do. And so when we think about them, we're like, oh, you know, they're in heaven. They're in the clouds and they're kind of like looking down at us and just, you know, hey, Teddy's doing this. Cool. He's live streaming. All right. I really wonder about that, you know? Really wonder about that. So, is God real or is God not real? I believe God is real. I believe that everything is designed. Everything is intelligent. I think everything that was created for a reason, and that everything in nature, even ourselves, our cells in ourselves, in our own bodies, like it is very everything is designed like just right. I honestly believe that. So I I have less to say that God is not real than God is real. I think if we were able to design, and we are designing robots that can also design, then something designed us. It's a fractal. It's an infinite zooming in and zooming out. There is no end. I believe God is real in that sense. Well, yeah, that's just what I have to say about it. I believe God is real, and it does change the way I live. And I will tell you, like, being a Christian and believing in God, it does give you a sixth sense where, like, I believe that someone's watching me, or something is watching me. Um, my creator, someone who designed me, is watching me. So I have to kind of live in a certain way, so that the way I feel about God, looking down and observing what I'm doing, is not holding me back from doing what I need to do. Like, is not distracting my brain from making decisions. So when you pray, does anyone hear? I think when you cry out, there are people who think that if you pray inside your brain and your heart, that's enough. And then there's others that say you have to hear yourself praying, and you have to feel yourself praying, you know, head down on the floor in front of you, or you have to hear your voice when you call it out. I think there is a power in that. I think it's a vibration in calling out to God. And I've done that a lot in my life, begged him for help, begged him to get me out of situations, and he's done that repeatedly. And I say he because I don't know what gender God is, to be honest, right? But like in the Bible, they call him God the Father, right? It is what it is, take it for what you will. So why are we on earth? Like, why are we here in the first place? I think we're here just to fulfill whatever it is we were made to fulfill. Um, sorry. It's said that like no two people have the same fingerprint. So if that's actually true, that means like, you know, no two people were made for the same thing. Like each of us was made for something completely different, you know? So you don't have to believe, oh, I have competitors, I'm competing for the attention of other people. It's like, or I'm competing to beat this person in this industry because I I should be number one. I should beat him out. Survival of the fittest. But your cells, your fingerprints are different than theirs. You know? You're made in a different image of God than the other person is. So it's like you're not really competing in the same way ever. I think there is room for everyone. And so why are we here? Again, I think each of us are here for why we think God made us. I think I've kind of found my direction. But in terms of like actualization and actually creating everything I want to create, I think I'm far from it. I think a lot of people are far from it. And people who are complacent have drifted from it. Me, I've run into a lot of creative blocks. And when I do that, it's like I feel far from God. I definitely do. So I think you have to feel close to God in order to be at your most creative. I think um I think praying helps. I think just being in a dark room, closing your eyes, or even opening your eyes, being alone, and leaving the phone somewhere else. I think in the way, the phone is a distraction, is a demon of sorts, right? Where you're looking at it all the time. You're listening to it, you're looking at it, you're touching it. It's kind of absorbed three of your five senses, right? The sight, this hearing, and touch. And I think that is going to be increasingly, it's going to increase in the number of senses it takes from you. You know, it's kind of a scary thing, like a sci-fi thing, where it's like, yeah, we're close to tech now, but wait until later, where AI merges with robotics, and then the robots become the iPhones. You don't have iPhones anymore. You just have robots walking around with you. It's it's a crazy world to think about. And so everything happens for a reason, but I don't think anyone knows what reasons they are, because a storm could hit Taiwan and I could die. Like, everything happens for a reason. Well, why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? No one knows. It's like the universe will not necessarily reward you because you're good, and the universe will not necessarily punish you if you're bad. I think it's very objective. And well, what is the universe? The universe is God. God is the universe. What does that mean? No one knows. It's like, that's like the end. That's like the final question. That's like the final boss of everything. Is like, I don't know, man. It's just God is just, he just does what he does. Does God intervene? Is he everywhere all at once? Yeah. Well, is he able to go everywhere all at once? Probably. He's God, right? He has the power to do that. He has the power to do anything. Well, then why doesn't he save good people? Or maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't meant to live a long time, or maybe they they were meant to be somewhere else so that they can make way for the next person. Well, what does that mean? Again, like, maybe we're reborn again on Earth. Maybe we go to heaven. Maybe not. Like, there's so many questions, about like the meaning of life, and why, you know bad things happen to angels and why good things happen to demons. And it's kind of a very illogical word. Like, we just can't make sense out of it. And you can lose your mind and just get lost thinking about it, and it won't get you anywhere because there is no answer. You know. So why are we here? Um, is there a reason to why everything happens? And what is my purpose? Why am I here? I think I'm here to create great stories. I have an IP I'm working on. I want to create fantastical stories in that IP. It's very hard to do, but here I am. I'm trying to do it. I'm also here to send a message and to be a messenger. I'm here to, like, I have a third brand, Soybean Cowboy, and it's more of like a Teddy Untethered, like very, very uncensored, unfiltered. Or I try to be within guidelines. You have to obviously filter yourself because cancellation is a real thing. Shadow banning, deplatforming, demonetization is a real thing. And well, platforms have to enforce these rules so they could stay platforms and they could not lose money from losing sponsors and not lose money from the infrastructure they have. Maybe their app or software platform of many things. And if they don't follow the rules, then some of those things might stop working, because of their politics or whatever. And politics is like the most sensitive thing in the world because everyone takes it seriously. Everyone takes it personally because it is very personal. A lot of people identify with the politics they have, and I don't blame them. And all right, so what's the purpose of my life? I think I'm living out that purpose, and I think one day at a time, I'm gonna get to where I need to go. I think these morning exercises for me is 10 a.m. About 10:19. It's been talking for 20 minutes. I think this is a good exercise, like a thought exercise, and in the future, if I want to do some VODs or repurpose this content, I can. But I think it's good to have a place just to kind of air out. So, does my life actually matter? I think in the grand scheme of things, it does not. But in the small things, like in the if you zoom in, yeah, it matters a lot. It matters a lot to people around me. I think each one of you matters to the people around you. I definitely think that. But does it matter? Well, when does my life stop mattering? when I am in a crowd of how many people does it stop mattering? Maybe when I become a statistic in a death toll or something. Well, from whose perspective does it stop mattering? So I think in the eyes of God, it does not stop mattering. Also, on top of that, I think you are playing your part. I am playing my part in this clock made of gears that is God. Everything is God, just different levels of God. I think you and I are God in a sense, like pieces of God, right? And within each of us are smaller pieces of God, which are made up of smaller pieces of God. I honestly believe that. And maybe the atom, maybe the molecule is the smallest particle or something. Whatever. The atom, maybe an atom is made up of something we can't see. Maybe it goes smaller than that. Maybe it goes infinitely smaller. Everything might infinitely be made up of something infinite. And they are all particles of God. And in the grand scheme of things, it is God. Well, how far does it go? No one knows. Now, was the universe the creation of God, or is it God itself, himself? All right, so is there more to life than this? I don't think so. I think, is there space? Is there more to life than this? Like, is there more to life than what you see and feel? I think space might be, it might be an illusion. It might be a hallucination. There might actually be a firmament and actually be a limit to how far we can reach into the skies. There might be. Yeah, I honestly think we don't know, man. We don't know. We don't know if there's more to life than what it is we see and can experience with our senses. Because maybe there are things we can't see, like beings and stuff walking around. Like maybe, yeah, we have the internet now, so we can see what's going on the other side of the world. But no one's found actual cryptids, have they? Well, how do you know it's not made with AI? And before AI created, how do you know it was not a man in a suit? And there's so many questions. And our sense of sight is just one of the ways we can experience life. And so, what is the point of everything, man? I don't think there is an actual point. I just think that in order to know the actual point of everything, you actually have to understand what your point is. You know, I don't think that's the question for you to answer. I think it's God's answer. Only God knows the point of everything. I think you only know the point of what you are able to do within your sphere of influence. Only you can determine why you are here, but you can't determine why the next person's here. And I wonder if I am a good person or not, or whether or not I'm good enough. I honestly think that I am the best person that I am able to be, given what I know and given what I've learned through my experience and through the experience of other people. I am the best person that I am able to be. I'll stand by that. I think there are people that have a lot more experience than me, that when they tell me things and I listen to them, I believe that it's for the best for me. That's all. And how do you define a good person or a bad person? And is this person considered bad enough? Or what measuring stick can we use to differentiate? Hey, you suck, I'm good. I honestly don't know. What is morality? Can you be religious without being moral? Can you be legal without being moral? What if it's immoral but legal? Well, then, should government and religion combine and merge? I don't think so. I think government should be built on religion, but it should not. But we should not use every rule in that religion to govern everyone. I think it could be inspired by the religion, which I think the Constitution in the USA was inspired by the Holy Bible. Definitely. If you say otherwise, well, I just doubt it, man. I think the USA was founded on Christian principles. And I think the first founders were very religious. At least some of them were, right? And the society as a whole was religious. And the way society functioned was a trickle down from the Holy Bible. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, per se. I think that there are merits to that. But when you get too deep and then you start taking it too seriously, and then everything becomes, verbatim, we're in 2026. Can't do that. That's just me, though. We got 5 minutes left, guys, until 10:30. I'm talking for about 25 minutes. Just looking at things, looking at little topics here and seeing which one's interesting. So, am I the only one that's lost what feels lost in life? I think, well, how do I feel lost? I mean, sometimes I'm lost in terms of like, okay, what kind of content should I make? Like, I don't know, man. I made thousands and thousands of videos or thousands and thousands of uploads. What content should I make next, man? I don't know. I look at what's trending and I could decide that, yeah, that looks interesting. I could make content like that. In some days it's like, oh man, I don't really know what to do. I could do that. Okay, but why should I do that? You know, am I doing that because I'm building it? I'm building what I like, the tower that I am building of my content. Like, is it directional building, or is it just because it's an experiment? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks. That's two very different things. One is intentional, and the other one, beginner's mind, is necessary. Like, we need to have a beginner's mind when we kind of, it helps us be creative and inventive and innovative when we approach content with a creator's mind, with a beginner's mind, I mean, where your mind is in the beginning mode. You don't know what works, you don't know what does work and doesn't, and you're just kind of doing whatever because it's like warming up your body. You're stretching. You're doing these very easy motions to kind of get your blood going. And I think it's good just to shit post, and it's to post bad content. It's a very good strategy. Like, you have to post bad content because it warms you up to make the good content. But you need a place to put that bad content, right? Because what if it explodes? Some people put 5% effort into a video and then it gets like 1,000% return. Some people put 1,000% of effort into a video and then it gets 0% return. Like, that happens to me a lot, where I spend days and days on a video and it doesn't do well. And then I'm like, fuck it. I'll just make another video. I just used my iPhone and it gets like a lot more views. And I just did it in like a couple of minutes. Why is that? No one knows. So in a sense, yeah, it's a numbers game. Now, looking back, when people see your content who want to work with you or not, and even people who you reach out to who want to collaborate with you or not, they'll definitely look at your content and see whether or not you have a consistent view count, whether or not you have a high quality look and feel. It doesn't have to be like, what I'm using, like a Sony FX3, but it could be like an iPhone or an Android. But the context is good. It's funny. It does the job. Then they're going to see like, okay, well, they're consistent in that. And the performance is great. So they want to work with you. Collaborators, companies. But if you're shit posting all the time and you get like, you post like 100 videos, 99 gets one view, one video gets 1,000,000 views, they might not want to work with you. I'm just saying. There's a high chance they might not want to. But if you have a channel where you're just shit posting all the time and no one sees it, or they can see it, but they don't take it seriously because it isn't your gallery. It isn't your best of. It isn't your bangers. So I'm just saying, like, maybe I could put my bangers on a channel where I could use my main channel for the bangers and for the best of. It's a gallery. It's where I put my best stuff. And it's where I redo my best stuff. Variations of the best stuff. Slight degrees of increments off of my best stuff. Angling slightly this way or that. Just to see if I can get higher views. To continue to build a loyalty. so that my community can grow in order for me to reach my destination faster. And so, gotta have a place to shit post. Trying out new ideas on your main channel, I think, is good. Only if it's similar in look and feel to what's worked before, or it is inspired from the same vein as what inspired the one that blew up. But have another channel, a smaller channel. It can even be a big channel. It just does not have to be your focused channel where you just like, you can just shitpost, you have the freedom to do that. I think it's a good thing. And before you blow up, just make sure that you have, I'm a firm believer in like one platform, one account until you blow up, then repost to all accounts. But grab that username for all platforms in case someone else takes it. All right, guys, it's top of the half hour. It's 10:30. Hope everyone has a great day. All right, goodbye, everyone.